Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about today is a recap from the conversation you had in your home room. I will say this class, in general, does a great job of following expectations. I do appreciate that. So, just remember to be kind to one another. Whether that is here in school, whether that is on social media, whether that is on your way out of school, going to the K, or wherever you might go. Right? This year has been difficult. Raise your hand if you thought this year was difficult. Right? A lot of different obstacles we had to get through this year. So please make sure you're being kind to one another. Someone might be going through a really hard time, and a little small joke they might take very seriously. Does that make sense? Okay. Another example I want to give, just to give you some context, is anyone self-conscious about something, about themselves? I'm sure we all have something we're self-conscious about. If you haven't found that out yet, I'm sure you will. Okay? Everyone's probably self-conscious about something. Imagine I am self-conscious about X, a variable. Okay? And someone makes just a little joke of just trying to be fun, even if it is your friend. But that joke is about what I'm self-conscious about. How is that going to make me feel? Lauren?
Really bad about yourself and like even more self-conscious.
Exactly. Even more self-conscious. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to feel sad. I'm going to feel hurt. Okay? So even though this person who said something was just trying to be funny, they're a friend, it still hurt this person. It hurt me. Right? So at your age, this is one of the hardest things to do. It's hard for everyone, but at your age, your development is even harder. But understanding what you are saying or doing before you do it. Check yourself. Is this what I'm saying? Is this appropriate? Is this going to hurt anyone? Does that make sense? Try to understand what you are doing or saying before you go do that. Again, we talk about this a lot towards the end of the year because we kind of forget our expectations because we all just want to get out of here, right? We just want to be done with the year, especially a year like this. Challenging in many different ways. So please be kind to one another. Can we do that? Let's finish this year strong. We're going to talk about dot plots now. Yeah. Dot plots. There. You saw some dot plots yesterday in our variability lesson. What do you remember about dot plots? What do they have? Jordan, they have dots. I feel like the person who came up with the name of that graph had zero creativity. Right? They were just like, I came up with this awesome graph that has dots on it. What should I name it? And they came up with dot plot. You need a pencil out, and that's probably all you really need today. I don't think you really need a calculator. If you have it out already, that's fine. Yes, right. Oh, my joke today. I almost forgot. The joke, you can't see it either. The joke says, why can't you do math? Why can't you do a math test in the jungle? There are too many cheetahs. the topic of dot plots, a dot plot shows the shape of a data set by representing each data point as a dot over its corresponding value on a number line. If I came up with a question that said, how many siblings do my friends have? Is that a statistical question? What do you think, Liam? Yes. Why is it statistical? Paige? We're going to have more than one answer. If I ask each of you in here, you're going to have different amounts of siblings. If this is our data set and we want to create a number line, what do you think the first thing we need to do is? I gave you the answer. If we are going to create a dot plot, what is the first thing we need to create? Lila, a number line. Nice, Lila. So, we can have number lines that go from any value. Would you agree? Our number lines can go from negative infinity to infinity. With this data set, what do you think is an appropriate amount of number line? Dave? 5. What do you mean 5? Like 5 lines? Okay, what's your first line going to be? 1. 2, 3. Will this number line work for this dot plot for the data set? Sam? No, why not? There's a 6 in the data set. We have a friend who has 6 siblings. Why else wouldn't it work? Liam? There's a 0. We have a friend who is an only child. So we can't include them in this dot plot. Does that make sense, Kate? Okay, what do you think would be an appropriate number line? Owen? 0 to 10. I would agree with Owen. I would not make a number line that is always just from your lowest number to your highest number. Leave space for openness. Okay? When I say that, should we go into the negatives? So like -4 to 10? Should we go from like -4 to 10 with this data set? Why not? Jack? You don't need to, but we don't need to go to 10. Right? Michael?
You can't have -4 siblings.
Good. You can't have a negative amount of siblings, so that doesn't make sense to this data set. Okay? All right, so you should be drawing a number line under this data set that goes from 0 to 10. What do you think our next step is going to be? Hey. Good. We're going to put dots under each number. We should be putting, and I don't have a lot of room below here, but number of friends, siblings should be written underneath. Okay? Number of friends, siblings. Now, studying this dot plot. So I have 2 friends. I have a friend who has 2 siblings. So I'm going to put a dot above 2. I'm going to put a dot above 0. A dot above 1. 3. And so on. So go ahead and complete that dot plot. Does anyone have any questions right now as we're creating this? Liam?
Could the friend siblings thing not be a statistical question if we have one or no friends?
If we are, that's really not that funny. Okay? That's a question like what? I mean, some people don't have one friend, one really good friend, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong having no friends. You haven't found your group yet. That's okay. Alright? If that were the case, Liam, then that is correct. There would not be a statistical question because there's only 1 or 0 among the friends. Okay? And we have 2. I think I did all the 2s, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. My 2s are a little high, so they go up there. The only thing I'll say, make sure when you're doing your dot plot, your first dot, just one dot, lines up with one another. Your second dots line up with one another. Your third dot from the and 4. Okay. For example, this is not for this data set, but I don't want to put a dot here on number 10. It looks like this. And the second one, it looks like this. This 2 dots does not goes all the way up to this 4 dot over here. Okay, make sure your dots are the same size. Are we good with that? Good job. You just created a dot plot. What information can we get from a dot plot now? What are some good things that we can find that we've talked about already for a dot plot? What could we easily find? Alex? Okay, what's that mean? What, give that to a vocab term. What did you just find, Alex? 4 of his friends have 2 siblings. Liam, you just found the mode. The highest number of siblings that my friends have is 2. You can find the mode really easily in a dot plot. You're looking for the one that has the highest amount of dots. That is your mode right here. What other vocab term can we find easily in this data set? Gabe? Range. How do we easily find range, Gabe? Perfect. Yeah, the biggest number, we look at it right away. Go all the way to the right. 6 minus 0. You get 6. Can we easily find the mean in a dot plot? Any easier than just having this information? No, not really. And you still have to add them all up. So 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Then I divide it by how many dots I have. What about median, though? Can we easily find the median when given a dot plot? Sydney? Yes, how could we do it?
You could cross out the number line.
Cross out the number line? So just like 10, 0, 9, 1?
No, like the dots on the number.
Perfect. We are going to cross out our dots. We can't cross out the numbers. We have multiple 2s. So I would cross out this 6. Then I would cross out the 0, the 4, the 1, the 3, the 1, the 3, the 1. What is my median going to be? I can stop here. Jordan? 2, because all the numbers I have left are 2. That is your middle of your data set, is 2. Questions? Comments? Concerns about dot plots? Do you think you can handle a dot plot? What I want you to do next is I want you to solve the next 2 questions on the front page. The one that talks about the basketball shooting contest, and then I want you all to look at the bottom question. Okay, you're looking at this up here. It says dot plots are useful for seeing clusters and gaps in the data set. They are also useful for seeing values that stray from the general shape of the data. So that second question, I want you to identify gaps or a gap, cluster or clusters, and stray data sets. Okay, just circle them, identify them. You may work with your neighbor, so I should hear some talking going on. So both of those questions. For the basketball shooting contest, your friends hold a basketball shooting contest. The person who makes the most baskets in 1 minute wins. Use dot plots to answer the questions. A says, how many people made 8 baskets? Lauren?
2 people.
2 people. How did you know it was 2 people? How did you identify that?
Because above the 8 there was 2 dots. So there were 2 people and then 8 baskets.
Great job. Our numbers down here represent baskets made. So we have 8 baskets. So I'm going to go over to 8 baskets made. Above that, I have 2 dots. What does each dot represent? Alex, 1 person. You have to assume a dot represents 1 person unless there is a key that says a dot represents 5 people or 10 people. They might do that if we have a bunch of people in this basketball contest. If there's like 1,000 people that enter this contest, do we want to make 1,000 dots? No, that'd be a lot. So we might say a dot represents 10, and we make fewer dots. Questions? Great. How many baskets did the most people make? Sam? 5. What is that also known as? Caden? The mode. Okay? So the mode is the one that shows up the most. The most people made 5. Now C. What is the least number of baskets that a person made? Emery? 3. Why is the answer not 10? Jack?
Because it's a lot higher. That's the highest number of all of them.
Perfect. But there's just 1 dot. Michael?
It says the least number of baskets, not the least number of people.
Great. Nice job, Michael. So it says the least number of baskets, not the least number of people. Let's look at the baskets. Go over to the smallest number, 3. Something that we can take away from this. Every person made at least how many baskets? Owen? 3. Every person made at least 3 baskets. There was one other thing I was going to go over that. How much time do we? 15. 3 minutes. Let's go to the questions down here. We have clusters, gaps, and stray data. Identify one of those for me. Jack.
The 12 is a stray.
Good. The 12 right here is a stray data set because it is away from all the other ones. It's by itself. It's just 1 dot that's not close to anything else. Caitlin. 1 to 8 is a cluster. Raise your hand if you agree with that. Raise your hand if you disagree. Liam, you disagree? You're confused? Alright, I want to show you this. I have a lot of people who say this is one cluster. I'm going to disagree with you. If that was a roller coaster, how many hills are you going up? Gabe, I'm going up 2 of them. So how many clusters do you think you have, Laura?
2.
There are 2 clusters here. That's an easy way to identify your gaps. That's an easy way to identify how many clusters you have. Draw those arrows around there. If you're having humps or you're having a roller coaster, it's going to be cool. If you have a stray data set, what will you always have? If you have a stray data value, you're always going to have a, all together?
Yeah.
Nice job. No homework. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you.